I was at my son's state championship basketball game. I was walking down a set of stairs and I just fell. A couple weeks later, we were up in Chicago, and after 2 or 3 hours of walking, my legs just quit. I had to sit down. Then a few days later, we were at the NCAA championships, and again, my legs buckled and I fell. And I said, Holly, I'm having to think about walking. We need to do something about it.
ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, is also referred to as motor neuron disease or Lou Gehrig's disease. And it's a degenerative disorder of the motor neurons throughout the spinal cord. And what that leads to is degeneration of the motor nerves that go to the muscles. And over time, people become very weak because of that. It will usually start in a limb, like people notice hand weakness or foot weakness, leg weakness, and eventually will affect speech and swallow. It also affects the diaphragm and the chest wall muscles that are absolutely necessary for breathing. And usually people die within 2 to 5 years after they've been given the diagnosis.
After the doctors given us the news, he said, you need to start going to a clinic where they can provide answers and support and help. And that's when we decided to come to the University of Iowa for our follow-up care and treatment.
And I think the clinic was really good to give us a path to start. We were so caught up in what we faced that we didn't even know where to start. I knew that the prognosis was not good and that I faced raising our children by myself.
The device consists of 2 electrodes that goes into each diaphragm, so 2 on the left diaphragm and 2 on the right diaphragm. And these 2 electrodes are then wired out to the skin surface where it is tunneled right underneath the skin, connected by a 5th electrode, and it exits the skin right at the right upper quadrant or the right abdominal wall. The whole purpose of this study is to see if the device can prolong their time off ventilator. By implanting the Nurex device, in theory, we can continuously stimulate the diaphragm and maintain its strength.
We looked at all the different criteria to get into this trial, and John eventually met all points of that criteria, so we were able to get him into the study.
I expected to be treated just as a patient. These are the results. When they brought in things above and beyond what I was expecting.
Dr. Chong had met with us and in a previous appointment brought the procedure up on YouTube so that we could actually see what was going to take place. So on the day of surgery, we had a really good idea of what he was facing.
Everything went really smoothly. The procedure took around 2 hours. By the next day, he was ready to go home.
John's pacer, it seems to be working well. What we will do is monitor him over time, and again, checking his respiratory function and checking to see how he's feeling in general.
By taking part in this study, the most important thing is to gain time with John so that he can be here to see our kids grow up and be in all the activities that they participate in. I also think that it may make it easier for him so he doesn't have to struggle later on to breathe, that it may give him some comfort.
It serves a dual purpose, hopefully extending my lifetime and also giving back. I've had a life of service where I constantly believe in giving back to my community, to my family. I think this is another opportunity.
Being at an academic center, we're very lucky to have the infrastructure to conduct clinical trials. And in diseases like ALS, where there aren't proven treatments, it's very important for patients to be involved in these trials as a possible treatment for them.
The University of Iowa is the only center in the state of Iowa to be offering this clinical trial. I think patients who have a new diagnosis of ALS should strongly consider coming to the University of Iowa to see if they are a candidate for implantation of the new Rex diaphragmatic pacer.
University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives.